Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy if you're new here, and today's video is going to be another marathon training week, and this is week 4. And today I'm going to do a little bit of what I eat in a day as well, just to show what I'm trying to do to fuel my body so that I can complete this marathon, safely and smart, so that I'm not just pushing my body without, giving it the energy that it needs to do the thing, to run 26.2 miles by the end of it. So I am sitting at home. I definitely procrastinated quite a bit this morning to get myself going. I slept in. I didn't get up till 6 instead of 6:15ish. I got up. My alarm went off at 5:45 or 4:45, so I definitely turned that off and then got up a little bit later, and it is now 7, so I spent a good hour doing nothing. I scrolled a little bit. I've been trying not to scroll first thing in the morning, but today I did, and that's okay. So first thing, I've got pre-workout electrolytes. These are the Salted Mango Heat by Hydro Pack by Buff Chick Supplements. And then I will probably eat this after my run, because for right now, eating something before my run, this I could eat, but I just don't feel like eating it right now. So I will eat it probably after my run. I am gonna get myself going to the gym. Today's run is a 4-mile run at a conversational pace. Runna lets you do a toggle treadmill run, and so it says not faster than 3.7 on the treadmill. I think I'm gonna stick to the pacing on here, because the slow runs is where the work happens. I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then do my abs and mobility warm-up. I think that's really all I'm going to be doing today. And then when I get home, we'll go through all the things I eat today. I need to get myself motivated, get out of here, and get this run done, because even though I did not want to really go anywhere, I didn't want to go to the gym, I stood with everything in my hand, my bag, my pre-workout snack, my Cliff Bar, everything just in my hands. I stood there looking in my Runna app, because you can switch and reschedule all of your runs to different days of the week, and I'm like, well, I only have 3 runs to do and I have 4 days to do it, so I could take today and rest, but I really only ran yesterday and I rested the day before that, so I'm really fine. I have issues with my ankles and my knees usually first thing in the morning, which is not unusual for me, but it just means I have to really spend a good amount of time doing my warm-up, and that's what I'll end up doing today. I don't have any real reason to not go. The only thing that's keeping me from going is just I don't want to. It's just one of those days, and that's okay. It does no one is going to be motivated 100% of the time. Usually it's discipline and habit building that keeps people going. So that is the stage I'm in, building those habits. I really want to do this marathon, and I really want to do it right and train for it. Next week, I'm going to start strength training, because I'd like to make sure the muscles around my knees and my ankles are actually, doing the work, not the joints, so that I don't run into issues with those joints, because I do already have really stiff ankles and knees as it is, my right worse than my left, so I will probably be doing single leg movements. But yeah, so I'm gonna get going, stop yapping, and I will see you when I finish my run, probably when I get home while I'm making my breakfast. So let's go. Okay, I just took a shower. Now I'm getting my breakfast. I am having some oats, frozen berries, honey, and some granola. So I have all of that in here, and then I got my oatmeal ready for tomorrow, which I have to take to go. So I'm gonna make it like an overnight oat. So I'm just gonna put cold water in it and let it sit in the fridge, and then I'll heat it up when I'm ready to eat it tomorrow. And for today's, I just have some hot water boiling, and I basically just cover it, and then I put a little plate to like completely cover the bowl, and then I just let it sit. I could microwave it or whatever. Sometimes I do if I'm being impatient, but yeah. So, and this one, just the same thing, just enough water to cover everything, and then I'll just put this in the fridge, and then tomorrow heat it up when I'm ready. And then the granola obviously has to be separate because we don't want soggy granola over here. And I like granola. I also like that it adds a crunch to the oatmeal. So, okay, while that sits, I'm gonna put this stuff away, and then we'll chat about my run today. Okay, so today's run was a 4-mile run. So here are my splits because it was an easy run. There was no intervals or anything, so I did my usual intervals that I like to do. I like to do 3 on, 1 off. So 3 minutes running, 1 minute walking. And so while doing that, I did my running pace at the 4.0 speed, and then my walking pace at 4.5 to 4.8, depending on how I was feeling. Towards the middle, I felt like my heart rate was getting fairly high more consistently. So I'll talk about what I was doing to try to combat that without completely slowing down. So my first mile was a little slow, but I started this one with a walk, and then the rest of the miles, just the way they fell, started with running. So I don't know if just the timing, how many 1 minute walks versus 3 minute run intervals happened during the mile. So the first mile was at 16:23. Hold on, I read that backwards. 16:32. And then here my heart rate was within 146, my average heart rate, which is good. And on my easy runs, I aim to try to keep it below 160 as much as I possibly can, because that is when I start to have issues breathing. I can feel my heart rate a little bit faster. It just doesn't feel easy. So because it's an easy run, I need my, body and my heart rate, my breathing to feel easy as well. So that the beginning was really good where my heart rate went, and then it slowly progressed and got a little bit higher, but didn't feel too bad. So my second mile was 15:52 with an average heart rate of 158, which is a little high. So I think I crept up in the 160s just a little bit during my 1 minute or 3 minute walk intervals, and then came back down when I was doing my 1 minute walk. Mile 3 was 15:51 with an average heart rate of 159. Like I said, it was still slowly creeping up. And so here was where I really started to pay more attention to it and try to bring it down. And it kind of did. But it did slow down my pace a little, because I did bring my walking speed down to 3.5 instead of 3.8 during this last mile. So my mile pace for mile 4 was 15:56. Went up just a little, but it was still faster than the first mile. So that's pretty cool. But my average heart rate was 157. So that's lower than the last 2 miles, which is good. So what I was doing was, and I saw this on someone's YouTube video, but I can't remember who it was. Otherwise I would tag them, because I've been watching a lot of runner YouTubers lately, and I'm not subscribed to too many. I'm just, following or finding videos and subscribing to who I vibe with, and not every video is going to vibe, but this specific advice from this creator stuck with me, and it actually felt really good to implement and actually helped to regulate my heart rate a little bit better. So what I would do is I would count 4 steps, breathe in, 4 steps, breathe out. So I would breathe in through my nose and then out through my mouth. But then sometimes I'd be like, all right, I feel like I need more air, because I also have asthma. So I kind of have to just regulate that a little bit more and be more conscious of how I'm breathing as well. So I would sometimes switch it up and breathe in through my mouth and then out through my nose, because sometimes I'm like breathing in through my nose and I feel like I'm not getting my lungs full like I would want. But then when I would breathe in through my mouth, I would, but then when I breathe out through my nose, I'm not expelling as much as I want. So like, I just have to alternate those things and just, mess with it, play with it, work on making sure my diaphragm's doing what it needs to do, all that good stuff. So that seemed to help regulate my heart rate a little bit. Also, in that last mile, I did slow my pace down to my walking pace for the 1 minute walk intervals. I did slow those down just a little, like 0.2 speed from what I was doing for the entirety of the rest of the run, because I did not want my heart rate to spike too much, and I didn't want to overdo it to the point where I couldn't even do the 1 minute or the 4.0 speed for the 3 minute intervals I was doing. So yeah, I felt really good. I am so glad that I went. Like, I felt like I could maintain that speed for a while. Well, my knees and my ankles are very sore and fatigued, and those are the things that are fatiguing first. So, like I said, I'm going to implement some strength training next week to strengthen those areas so that I can combat those areas that fatigued first. I am pretty happy I went. Like, if you remember, you probably saw, like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. I didn't want to go today at all. I am happy I did. And once I really got myself into my warm-up, loosened up my joints a little bit, I was feeling really good. So I obviously was going to continue my workout and run and all of that. Sir, my cat is like trying to squeeze past my camera in a spot like he doesn't need to squeeze past it. There's room on the other side of it. So he's like moving it. And he's now sitting behind the camera. Anyway, I may have to microwave these oats, but yeah, so, oh, and also I did end up eating my Cliff Bar after my warm-up before I started my run. And I think that helped as well. I had my electrolytes. I sipped on throughout my entire run, and then I need to drink more water. So this is a 40-ounce bottle, and I need to drink at least 2 of these during the day. And then I always have water by my side, on my bed nightstand, and I end up drinking almost at least half of one of these throughout the night, because I wake up and I get thirsty. Or I just drink a lot before I actually fall asleep. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I will check in when I have my lunch, and then of course dinner later as well. So, and I don't really have too many snacks throughout the day right now because of how I am making my meals and the types of food I'm putting in it. I'm like choosing sustainable food options, and I'm making sure I'm looking at my carb and protein intake. And when you add, whole grains and fruit and stuff, you're going to also get a good amount of fiber, which is also important. So by adding in specific foods, I'm also making sure I have the fiber without really paying that close attention to it as well. So I'm going to stop yapping so this video doesn't end up being a million years long with me just talking. My previous couple of weeks have been. So yeah, I will check back in when I eat my lunch. Okay, so my next thing, which I actually forgot, I didn't even have any coffee yet, and it is almost noon. That's really late for me to have coffee. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's later than what I normally have coffee, is what I mean. So, I typically use protein shakes for coffee creamer, basically, and I use Nespresso capsule espresso shots as my coffee base. And sometimes I'll do cold brew. That is basically the next meal. Typically, I have this alongside my breakfast. I completely forgot I forgot I had coffee. And I was watching a YouTube video while I was editing last week's fitness journey marathon training video, and they were like, I need to make coffee. And I'm all like, coffee? I haven't had coffee today. So here we are, coffee. So I'm going to drink this, probably have lunch in a couple hours. I am not hungry because I actually ate really late because I went to the gym a lot later because, you know, I decided to take a million years to get myself there. So anyway, coffee's next. Okay, so it's like 4 o'clock and I totally forgot I needed to eat lunch. I am starving, so I have a factor meal here. I put it in this container because I also added a 1/4 cup of rice as well. A 1/4 cup uncooked, which I think is like 3/4 cup once it actually gets cooked. And it's a salmon teriyaki something or other with green beans. So that is my lunch, and yeah, I'm gonna eat this. And I'm gonna be stuffed by the time dinner comes around, so I might eat a little bit later for dinner. We'll see. So I'm gonna eat this, but that's my lunch for the day. Okay, so for dinner, I'm gonna be making this HelloFresh meal. It is crispy buffalo spice chicken with blue cheese sauce, green beans, and roasted carrots. Sounds good. So I will show you when I'm done. Okay, and that is kind of how I'm eating. My breakfast roughly is the same. Some days I might make eggs and some toast instead of the oatmeal, but I have a factor meal and I have a HelloFresh meal for lunch and dinner. And those are all roughly around the same. A lot of my factor meals, I do add rice to them because factor meals are typically keto, meaning low carb, and I want the carbs. So yeah, I am going to end this day and I will check in with you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's run. Okay, it is Friday, the next day, and this is day 2. And I just finished my run. So I started off with my warm up. See my last video for my standard like warm up. And also ignore the lighting. The sun is literally on this side, if you couldn't tell. It's really not flattering, but that's fine. It is what it is. So this run was a speed run. It was called Rolling 800s. And so it started off with a 0.75 mile warm up at conversational pace. So I ran it at a 0.8 on this treadmill, and then repeating times 2, which I didn't realize. I thought there was a break in between this. So it's essentially 2 full miles of this repeating pattern. So it starts off with 0.5 miles at a 15:25 pace, which I put at a 4.5 on the treadmill. And then immediately following that is a 0.5 mile, another 0.5 mile at 15:55, so a tiny bit slower. And then that repeats another time, both of those, with no rest in between. I thought there was a rest in between, so I put my speed up a little bit higher than it should have been. So I definitely walked a bit more in that second set of these repeating half miles. So yeah, I kind of brought it down closer to like 4.0 for as much as I could for that second round. So following those 2 miles was a 90-second walking rest, and ending off with a 0.75 mile cool down at a conversational pace or slower. So I did that at a 0.8. My paces and what I did, the first 0.75 I did at a 15:01 pace. The first 0.5 miles I did at a 13.39 mile pace, which is pretty dang fast for me. And you'll see that that was not sustainable because I didn't realize there wasn't a break in between those two, which I probably could have made one. I could have paused the workout, which I was already like in it, and for some reason my brain's like, I can't pause it now. Whatever. I probably could have paused it in between those and then walked for a little bit and then started the workout again, which I will keep in mind for future reference. So then the second half mile was at a 14:10 pace, and then I jumped up to an 18:07 mile pace because I walked quite a bit in that one, and I walked a little bit also in the last 0.5 as with a 17:43 pace. And then the 90-second minute and a half recovery was like a 30-minute mile because I was trying to walk slow, getting my heart rate back down. And then the last mile I ran at a 14:12, or the last 0.75 miles I ran at a 14:12 mile pace. So I finished this whole workout with 3 miles and 3.55 miles at a 15:33 pace.